Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Uncle Frank, and I am not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Oh, guys, the chess pieces are moving on the board. BlackRock's Fink appointed as interim co-chairman of the World Economic Forum. And of course, the board of the WEF clears founder Schwab of material wrongdoing after investigation. Of course they did. SEC disclosure reveals Ripple SEC settlement still pending court approval. If you saw my previous video, you know this nonsense isn't officially over yet, and I'm hoping for a rally on the news. How long do you think before we get it? I say 60 days. An article from Sunday morning, Trump Media's $2 billion Bitcoin purchase creates stock surge. President Donald Trump's media group, Trump Media, made headlines in July when it purchased a staggering $2 billion in Bitcoin and securities. Trump Media made the bold move as a follow-up to its announcement made in May when the company declared it had raised $2.5 billion in funding to make the purchase, all part of a plan for Trump Media to become a Bitcoin treasury company. I just want to know how Ripple went from dinner with the president and a $5 million donation to this. On your screen is the 80-year-old leader of AMC's board of directors, Philip Lader. To my knowledge, he is still a senior advisor to Morgan Stanley Institutional Trading, and I challenge anyone to name one positive thing this man has done for AMC. Please list all your findings in the chat. According to SEC Form 4, he's never purchased even one share of AMC, but managed to dump $705,000 worth on retail. According to Salary.com, he also enjoys a comp plan exceeding $356,000 in 2024. Nice money for nothing, I would say. That's Phil giving Hillary some sugar back in the day. Everyone knows Trump went to Alaska to meet with Putin, but did you know this? Trump says Xi Jinping made promise on Taiwan invasion. U.S. President Donald Trump said Chinese President Xi Jinping gave him a personal assurance that he wouldn't invade Taiwan while Trump was in the White House. Trump made the comment during an interview with Fox ahead of his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday. Speak of the devil, China's high-power microwave gun fires 10,000 shots in test, proving new vacuum tech. Successful trials of gun that emits beams capable of attacking drones, missiles, and more signal breakthrough in directed energy weaponry. China has reportedly developed a 1 gigawatt microwave cannon that replicates a nuclear EMP. EMP cannons could down drone swarms like bug spray. China's microwave weapons aim to zap U.S. drone swarms. Semper Fi, Marines get their first high-power microwave weapon for taking on drone swarms. Hoorah! Marines to lean on Anduril tech to protect bases from drones. Anduril was awarded a $642 million contract to deliver, install, and sustain a family of systems to protect Marine Corps installations from small drones. And just in case you forgot, a new triumvirate emerges in American defense, with Archer Aviation, Anduril, and Palantir joining forces. Archer, Anduril, and Palantir have formed a strategic alliance that combines advanced aviation technology, defense systems, and artificial intelligence capabilities to disrupt traditional defense contracting. Archer benefits most from this partnership due to its eVTOL technology, dual market strategy, and ability to capitalize on shifting Pentagon priorities. Oh, please keep shorting it. But wait a moment. A Ukrainian company says it's developing a new fiber optic drone with a range of up to 100 kilometers. This would be a major upgrade for what has emerged as one of the most important weapons in the war. Fiber optic FPV drones are immune to electronic warfare tactics, making them particularly deadly. A Ukrainian company is developing an unjammable fiber optic drone that can roam nearly 100 kilometers from its operator, more than doubling the reach of current models in a bid to radically extend the reach of one of the war's most feared weapons. And one of Uncle Frank's quantum picks is talking shit Saturday morning. D-Wave Quantum, or QBTS, a quantum leap in a high-stakes race. D-Wave Quantum leads quantum computing with 42% revenue growth and $819 million cash reserves despite a $167 million net loss. Stay tuned. I'm a real estate agent, and I say 6 metro areas at huge risk of a housing market crash in 2025. Who's on her list? Tampa, Winter Haven and Palm Beach, Florida, Chicago, New York Metro, and Denver, Colorado. This map reveals 10 U.S. cities where new house prices are plunging fastest amid the housing market crisis. The housing market downturn is beginning to bite even in areas once thought insulated from falling prices, and that's newly built homes. Realtor.com reports that in June, the median listing price for new builds dropped year over year in 30 of the nation's largest metro areas, with the steepest declines in the South and West. Finally, mortgage rates hit lowest point of 2025 at 6.58% for a 30-year fixed loan. They're at the lowest level of the year. Shelter inflation is sticky as housing affordability woes persist. Housing inflation is easing, but it's still the biggest factor driving prices higher. From Zero Hedge, Trump's D.C. cleanup in action. Footage is starting to appear online of the cleanup efforts in Washington, D.C. amid President Trump's operation to restore order to the capital city. Yeah, guys, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, you weren't allowed to just set up a tent city and live in a public park. You weren't allowed to run into a business and steal up to $900 worth of merchandise and just be on your way. You weren't allowed to take a shit in front of a business and then shoot up. Why do Democrat mayors, senators, and congresspeople allow such things to go on while simultaneously bankrolling illegal aliens to remain? It's a good question, because if this persists, those commercial buildings downtown will be sold to BlackRock and Blackstone for 10 cents on the dollar. Almost half the employees are working from home now anyway. AI is going to be wiping out blue-collar and white-collar jobs like never seen before. People won't go to the city for dinner and shopping because they don't wish to be raped, robbed, or assaulted. So those businesses will close as well. I Googled it. Catholic Charities alone runs 47 programs across 29 locations within D.C. and the surrounding Maryland counties. They don't have to sleep on the street or in front of City Hall. On top of that, the District of Columbia Department of Human Services contracts with partner organizations to operate more emergency shelters that provide a safe place to stay and support services. So stop beefing that this is becoming a dictatorship. I'd like to visit our nation's capital or San Francisco without seeing someone wipe their ass on the steps of City Hall. I found some other interesting headlines from this month I wanted to share. Locals panic as Sea of Galilee turns blood red in biblical scenes. Onlookers recently observed a scene at the Sea of Galilee that could have been out of the Bible, with some declaring it a bad omen. The body of water seemed to turn blood red, with visitors comparing the scene to one of the plagues God inflicted on the Egyptians in the book of Exodus. Hey, Google it for yourself if you don't believe me. And from this past week, why is the moon red tonight in the U.S.? The moon appears to be red during a lunar eclipse, which is also commonly known as a blood moon. There's that word again. But this is not the only reason it can turn red or pink. The moon is red tonight due to the celestial alignment of the moon and supergiant star Antares. It is the brightest star in the constellation Scorpius. Antares looks 10,000 times brighter than the sun to our eyes. But that moon is still red. A total lunar eclipse known as a blood moon as seen between Chicago skyscrapers, March 14th. And from this June, is the Euphrates River drying up? Biblical changes are happening in the Fertile Crescent. The Bible suggested this means the rapture is coming, but water wars might be a more earthly problem. Iraq's Ministry of Water Resources warned that the river could dry up by 2040. Of course, they're blaming climate change. Starting back in May of this year, a real ID compliant driver's license or state-issued identification card or another acceptable form of identification like a passport will be required to board domestic flights. If your current driver's license or state ID does not have a star marking indicating real ID compliance at the top of the card, you'll need another acceptable form of ID, such as a valid U.S. passport or military ID, to board domestic flights. You may need a real ID or another acceptable form of identification to access federal facilities, including TSA airport security checkpoints. The alignment of these three nations also caught the attention of prophecy fans this year: Iran, Turkey, and Russia, the prophetic alliance against Israel. Some of you may not know about this, but there is a new flag popping up in Israel. This is called a Third Temple flag. In September of 2022, the arrival of 5 red heifers in Israel caught the world's attention. Now, more than 2 years later, those cows are being cared for in ancient Shiloh and continue to attract international visitors. Jewish tradition maintains that unblemished red heifer ashes are needed to rebuild the Third Temple. Some Christians believe a Third Temple would pave the way for a final end times chapter connected to the book of Revelation. It turns out a Christian farmer in Texas raised the prize heifers, which are essential for priests to serve in the new temple. A practice run for a red heifer sacrifice took place in Israel this past July. The ceremony, which took place near the ancient city of Shiloh, involved a disqualified red heifer. This event was described as a dress rehearsal for a future ritual involving a perfect red heifer whose ashes are needed for purification purposes related to entering the Temple Mount. The Temple Institute views this as a crucial step towards rebuilding the Holy Temple and the resumption of temple offerings. While the Temple Institute clarified it was a practice run, some reports have conflictingly suggested it was the actual ritual. The heifer used in the July ceremony was deemed unsuitable due to non-red hairs. Okay, guys, you tell me what this means. World's top hedge fund, Bridgewater, dumps all China stocks in retreat from market. The world's largest hedge fund drops $1.41 billion of shares in firms including Alibaba, JD.com, Baidu, Neo, and Yum China in the second quarter. Hedge funds shift bets to double down on big tech amid AI boom. Wall Street's largest hedge funds, Bridgewater, Tiger Global, and Discovery Capital, increased their exposure to big tech in the second quarter amid a generational boom in the growth of artificial intelligence. Hedge funds also added Microsoft and Netflix in a position shuffle, according to the 13Fs. GameStop short seller targets Palantir. Quote, there's never been a company that has had that type of multiple or that type of PE that's not corrected 50%, according to Andrew Leff from Citron Research. Does someone want to tell me why this guy isn't in jail yet? Well, I see you've got some court dates coming up, Andy. The hearing on the defendant's pretrial motions will be held tomorrow, August 18th, right? And then on July 7th, the court denied the defendant's motion to dismiss his indictment. The trial in this matter is continued from September 30th to March 17th of next year. Elon Musk sends warning to Tesla short sellers. They will be obliterated. Elon has a lot of stuff in the pipeline. I wouldn't advise betting against him. What did I tell you, Jordan? No matter how jacked up America is, we still have this. Foreign investors commit $1 trillion to U.S. Treasuries, pushing to the $9.13 trillion record. Foreign demand for U.S. Treasuries hit a record high of $9.13 trillion in June, climbing by $1 trillion compared to the same month last year, according to the Treasury Department's Friday release. Google says hackers stole its customers' data by breaching its Salesforce database. Notifying users affected by the cyber attack faces extortion threat. Come on, Uncle Frank, you're too worried about AI, automation, and robotics. Am I? World's first robot could give birth to human baby. The world's first humanoid robot surrogate could give birth to a live baby, scientists have claimed. Experts are developing tech that will mimic a pregnancy from conception to delivery, with the infant growing inside an artificial womb and receiving nutrients through a tube. Dr. Zhang, a PhD graduate from Nanyang Tech University in Singapore, has claimed the technology is already in a mature stage. Hey guys, this piece is from the Daily Galaxy. Bill Gates declares the end of the smartphone era and unveils its surprising replacement. In a bold prediction that's making waves across the tech world, Microsoft founder Bill Gates has suggested that smartphones could soon be obsolete, replaced by an entirely new kind of technology. Forget everything you know about handheld devices. Gates envisions a future where electronic tattoos become the new norm. Smartphones have been an indispensable part of our lives for over a decade. From checking emails to scrolling through social media and navigating our daily routines, these devices have shaped how we interact with the world. But Gates believes this era is coming to its end. According to Medium, Gates points to electronic tattoos developed by Chaotic Moon and later acquired by Accenture as the next big leap in personal technology. Instead of holding a phone in our hands, these tattoos could allow us to communicate, access the internet, and even monitor our health, all without a screen in sight. The key advantage, you may be asking, let me tell you, these tattoos are integrated into the body. Imagine having a device embedded in your skin that lets you interact with the world through simple gestures or touch. It's sleek, unobtrusive, and possibly more intuitive than anything we've seen so far. The tattoos are powered by tiny nanocapacitors, and they don't require bulky batteries or displays, making them a far more subtle alternative to today's mobile devices. So, guys, do you want to let Bill put a little tattoo on your hand? It's just going to be a mark on your hand. I don't know what you're worried about. You trust the Microsoft guy that likes to dabble in dangerous viruses, right? Social geoengineering, cloud brightening trails, genetically modified mosquitoes. Now, guys, Bill doesn't directly release the mosquitoes himself. He just funds the company that does. That's Oxytec. He divides his time between buying up all the farmland the communist Chinese haven't bought yet, while also trying to eliminate cows, while pushing a 100% transition to synthetic beef and insects. But he regrets the time he spent with Jeff Epstein. Hey guys, the flight logs say he only went to the island once, while others say 37 times. But that's unverified. His wife certainly cleared things up a little. She said publicly that Bill's relationship with Epstein played a role in their divorce. Now, guys, I have just one question for you. When is someone going to get a net and catch this fucking nut before he comes up with a virus to kill the millions of people unemployed by AI and robotics? Now, at the exact same time in history, Zuckerberg also says the smartphone's reign is coming to an end. Mark's vision for the future isn't one of faster processors or bigger screens, but a fundamental shift in how we interact with technology. He argues that the smartphone, despite its convenience, is an unnatural device that forces us to constantly stare at a handheld screen, disconnecting us from our physical surroundings and the people in front of us. His prediction is that by the 2030s, we will move towards vision-first computing with lightweight, augmented reality smart glasses becoming our primary digital gateway. So, something you wear by your forehead. Check. Zuckerberg's confidence isn't just talk. It's backed by billions of dollars of investment from Meta's Reality Labs. They are pouring resources into developing custom optics, spatial audio, and operating systems built specifically for this heads-up interaction. Other tech giants like Apple are also heavily invested in the AR wearable space, signaling a collective belief among industry leaders that this is the next major platform. While this future may sound like science fiction, the technology is already here, albeit in its early stages. Current smart glasses can take pictures, make calls, and provide instant information, but they still face challenges with battery life, processing power, and, perhaps most importantly, social acceptance. Did you know that Meta spends more guarding Mark Zuckerberg than Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet do for their own CEOs combined? Company unveils high-tech breakthrough that could solve massive problem with modern EVs. A company called 24M Technologies may have just cracked the code for faster, more efficient EV batteries, according to a recent article. The company's new electrolyte, Eternalite, promises to make charging an electric car 4 times faster than what we see today. And it's all possible with regular charging stations with no need for high-tech infrastructure. Eternalite works by speeding up the movement of ions between the anode and cathode in the battery. The result? A charge rate so quick that you can get around 186 miles of range in just under 4 minutes. What's more, the technology doesn't require special ultra-fast charging stations. You can use standard point and still get impressive speeds. But it's not just about speed. Cold temperatures are notorious for reducing battery capacity, with many batteries losing up to 25% of their efficiency in freezing conditions. Eternalite, however, allows the battery to maintain full functionality at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and retain more than 80% capacity even at 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This could make EVs far more reliable, especially in colder regions where battery performance is usually limited. Now, 24M is not publicly traded, but I found they're working with the Japanese company Kyocera, stock symbol KYOCY, on the OTC. 25 new technology trends for 2025. Technology is evolving faster than ever, transforming the way we work and live. In this dynamic landscape, it's not just new tech trends that are reshaping the future, but the very roles of IT professionals themselves. According to Gartner's research on strategic tech trends, the most influential innovations are expected to disrupt industries and accelerate business success in the coming years. So guys, you know I can't give investment advice, but I can say this. On the next screen are the top 25 emerging technologies for this year. I recommend you pick 1, 2, or 3 of them that interest you and become an expert on each of them. First, you identify what companies are in the sector and who the key players are, the leaders. Then you make sure you go to Google and have it email you every time there's news on those companies. Then you follow the key players on X and on LinkedIn. You may want to see if there are YouTubers that only follow your stocks, but pick out the smart ones. Now there's the list. Screenshot it if you like. My subscribers know I focus on quantum, eVTOLs, and XRP. You may find that your favorites can bleed into other tech sectors. For example, XRP, blockchain is number 9. For my quantum stocks, quantum comes in second, but advances in quantum could impact all the other 24 listed here. What does Archer Aviation fall under? Multiple categories. Number 8, autonomous vehicles. Number 4, virtual reality. Number 5, augmented reality. And number 13, green energy tech. I think eVTOLs will be big in ambulatory services, delivering freight, and obviously in defense. Now, this is not investment advice. I am not an investment advisor. I will never tell you to buy, sell, or hold any security or cryptocurrency. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. But why do you approach tech this way, Uncle Frank? Well, guys, if you can catch the next big thing, the next hot sector in tech before the world gets on it, you may find some stunning results. On your screen are the 4 pure quantum plays I watch. I've owned them all. I've traded them all. I made money on them all. But if I could go back in time, I would have placed my bets and just held them. Now, I only hold 2 of them, and I wish I kept them all. But I can still acquire them on dips. This run may not be completely over, but look at the performance over only 1 year. Quantum computing, stock symbol QUBT, up 2,370% for the year. D-Wave Quantum, QBTS, at 17, it's up 1,729%. IonQ, up 451% over the past year. And Rigetti Computing, stock symbol RGTI, it's gained 1,813% over the past 12, right? The idea here is to catch the next big sector in tech before it takes off. Maybe one of you will become an expert on a subset of IoT or drone tech, like in agriculture. Look at this. By 2025, over 1.2 million IoT-connected agricultural drones are projected to operate globally, enhancing farm data collection. A new era for modern agriculture. The intersection of Internet of Things tech and drones is redefining the landscape of modern agriculture. By 2025, IoT drone agriculture has revolutionized how farmers across the globe manage crops, monitor fields, and respond to challenges with unmatched precision and efficiency. The integration of drones into business and farming practices isn't just an upgrade. It's a significant leap forward for food security, cost management, and sustainability. Guys, look at that drone spraying insecticides. That has to be cheaper and safer than using a plane or hiring workers to do it. Who is going to lead the charge in drone crop dusting? So I Googled it. Who are the leaders in IoT drone agriculture? Here's an article from May titled Top 14 Precision Agriculture Companies Driving Global Food Security in 2025. Then I narrowed it down to drone farming, and I got IoT drone agriculture, top drone use and rates in 2025. Drone farming market, latest study reveals new growth dynamics. DJI, Parrot drones, SenseFly. Hard to switch, why U.S. farmers are embracing Chinese drones despite concerns. AG spray drones are just taking off, but a ban on Chinese tech could ground the industry. That sounds like an opportunity to me, right? Okay. Third AG and spray drone conference set for August 21st and 22nd in Norfolk. Okay, who's going to be there, right? Let's go deeper. Let's search for American publicly traded companies in agricultural drones. And AI digs up some results. Several American publicly traded companies operate in the agricultural drone sector, including AG Eagle Aerial Systems, AeroVironment, Trimble, Ondas Holdings, and Red Cat Holdings. Hey guys, this isn't my area, but I'm demonstrating the research path to create a sector list for yourself. But don't forget, guys, Uncle Frank fights dirty. I fight to win. I don't just listen to Wall Street pinhead analysts. I already know those guys are bought and paid for. Now, I would pretend to be a farmer and do some AG drone shopping for myself. What are the best-selling AG drones right now? Which are the highest rated? Which one is the best value? I've got prices from $700 to $112,000 here. Maybe I'll check out that one with the 21 5-star ratings. See if they're fake or legit. So give me a straight answer, AI. What is the best-selling agricultural drone? Based on available information, DJI is widely considered a leader in the agricultural drone market. Their Agris series of drones, particularly the AT40 and the AT50, are popular choices for crop spraying, spreading, and other agricultural applications. DJI's dominance is reflected in their substantial global market share in agricultural drone revenue, estimated at 30 to 34%. By the end of 2024, approximately 400,000 DJI Ag drones were estimated to be in use worldwide. While DJI is a dominant player, other manufacturers like XAG, Helio, and Guardian Agriculture also offer highly capable ag drones with distinct features and strengths. The best-selling agricultural drone can vary depending on specific regional needs, farming practices, and budget considerations. However, based on market share and prevalence in use, DJI drones, particularly the Agris T40 and T50 models, are strong contenders for the title of the best-selling agricultural drone. So there's two of them pictured. One goes for $15,999. The other goes for $24,519. I think I need to look into DJI. Okay, so these guys are not publicly traded, and come to find out they're Chinese. Also, they don't seem to have any plans to go public in the near future. So I signed up for emails from the company. Why? Because they're the big dog, and I want to know what they say from now on. But look what I stumbled on. From April, no DJI ban yet, but U.S. Customs already stopping some drones at the border. May, DJI drones are everywhere. The U.S. may still ban them. And then June, DJI issues urgent warning, 6 months until possible ban, right? DJI, the world's leading drone manufacturer, has issued a public message to American drone users, right? And now this, also June. Could this made in the USA drone company dethrone China's DJI? Now, this is from June and from the Motley Fool, so keep your bullshit detector on. But SciFly is a privately held California-based startup company. They have ambitions to dethrone the Shenzhen-based DJI as the global standard in commercial drones. Look, I know some of you think we're at a dead end, but look how much we've learned. China owns the drone industry, and DJI particularly so. China's DJI holds a dominant 70% global market share in drones. WBUR Public Radio reported that in the United States, DJI owns a market share of 75%. Okay, so we now know who the big dog is. We know they're getting resistance from the Trump administration, and we know there may be an opportunity here to find DJI's replacement. After all, we can't have the Chinese buying our farms, many near military installations, and then have an army of Chinese drones on standby ready to attack, when they're commanded to do so, or spying on us, reporting all the data they collect back to Beijing. So your assignment here, if you're willing to accept it, find the American publicly traded companies that have the best chance of replacing DJI, or discover which politician will sell out the United States and let DJI continue to dominate our market. I don't know if SciFly is even considering an IPO yet. Now, let's amp up the stakes. There could be a huge opportunity here. This is from just 10 days ago. Chinese-owned and operated DJI Technologies is up against an end-of-year deadline to keep its U.S. business alive, and the drone maker is struggling to get anyone in Washington to listen. The company, which controls over 70% of the domestic commercial market in the United States, has hired a small army of lobbyists and recently dispatched an Australia-based executive to Washington to address a looming ban on their technology. But DJI says emails and calls are going unanswered and they're running out of time. Quote, "We've been through the meat grinder on this issue, and we're happy to put ourselves through the meat grinder again," Adam Welsh, DJ's head of global policy, said. "We'd love to get to the point where we could actually have a conversation." Yeah, my ass bleeds for you, Adam. I could care less what this lobbyist for this Chinese company wants. Uncle Frank wants to find your company's replacement. DJI, like Chinese-owned social media giant TikTok, makes a popular product but is facing existential threats in the lucrative U.S. market amid rising concerns that the data it collects in the U.S. could be shared with authorities in Beijing. Hardware in its supply chain also could have its security compromised before the product even leaves China. The DJI drones, which are less expensive than those made by U.S. competitors, count filmmakers, farmers, law enforcement agencies, and firefighters among their customers. Congress last year inserted a provision in the annual Pentagon policy bill requiring drones made by the Shenzhen headquartered company undergo national security audits to ascertain the risks around data collection, particularly whether the company adheres to Chinese laws mandating it share any data the government demands. The provision also affects competitor Autel Robotics, another Chinese manufacturer. If the reviews validate those concerns, or if no audit is conducted, the drones could be added to the FCC's covered list, which bans any new models or technology from being sold or imported into the United States. DJI says it's ready to submit the required audit, but officials don't know who to talk to about it. The law stipulates that the audit should be conducted by the appropriate national security agency, which could be the Departments of Defense or Homeland Security, or the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the National Security Agency, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Guys, be advised, There is a huge opportunity here unless Washington bends over. 70% of the domestic American drone market is up for grabs, and the guy that finds which company or companies is going to steal it could make some serious money. Now, guys, I also know that DJI sued the Pentagon for adding it to its military designation list back in 2022. Agriculture goes high-tech. Now, this is from July. 4 drone stocks flying high in 2025. The agriculture drone market is exploding. Valued at $6.1 billion in 2024, it is expected to nearly quadruple to $23.8 billion by 2032, growing at a compound annual rate of 18.5%. This rapid expansion is driven by rising demand for precision farming tools that improve efficiency, reduce chemical use, and increase crop yields. Advances in drone technology, AI, and supportive regulations are making drone-powered crop monitoring, spraying, and data analysis practical and cost-effective for farms of all sizes. With such strong growth underway, it makes sense to pay attention to companies leading the charge in agricultural drones. Let's look at 4 stocks worth watching in this fast-moving sector: Xena, UAVS, CNH, and AVAV. There's Xena Tech for the past year, down 50.70%, but up 123% over the past 3 months. It's a small cap, $162 million. Top line revenue heading in the right direction so far, only $10.29 million in cash reserves. But from 5 days ago, Xena Tech reports over 500% increase in year-over-year revenue for the second quarter of 2025 and over a 250% increase in revenue for the first 6 months of the year. There's Ag Eagle on your screen, or UAVS, for the past year, down 89.21%, but up 131% over the past 3 months. It's a small cap, some might say a micro cap, $66.76 million. Top line revenue seems to be heading in the right direction so far. Cash reserves are up 52.3%, but stand at only $5.5 million. However, from 2 days ago, Ag Eagle Aerial Systems reported second quarter fiscal year 2025 financial results, and their financial performance was highlighted by a 92% increase in drone sales, continued margin improvement, and a significant reduction in net loss. And that's how it's done. A new folder named AG Drones with 2 high-risk growth stocks in it, so I will get news on them when it breaks, and I could begin researching them a little more. Someone might be turning bullish here. Short sellers lower bets against S&P 500 industrial sector stocks for the first time in 2025. The most shorted stocks: Southwest Airlines, Generac, CHRW, BLDR, and Lennox. The least shorted stocks: General Dynamics, XYL, Waste Management, AME, and RTX. Hey, if you made it this far, let's end on a high note. And just one more reason I need to pick out some VIX calls. An underwater volcano off the U.S. coast is set to erupt in 2025, raising excitement and worry. An underwater volcano off the coast of Oregon called Axial Seamount is predicted to erupt this year. The volcano, located about 300 miles offshore and about a mile below the surface, has shown signs of building pressure and is being closely monitored. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.